It's your future with Joyce Joya. Want to know what's coming and how to prepare for it? This show is for you. Armed with this information and these insights, our host Joyce Joya will help you make better decisions both personally and professionally. Joyce will cover all the trends, from social to economic, to workforce, and more. You will have a chance to get your questions answered in a segment we call, I'm Glad You Asked. This is one show you can't afford to miss. Now on Futures Television. It's your future with Joyce Joya.
Hello and welcome to It's Your Future with Joyce Joya. I am Rom Gayoso, co-host. We're broadcasting via Futures Television, the home of the future on television. If you're listening to the show via podcast or watching us on TV, you too can be part of the conversation. Just visit our YouTube channel, and that is IMCI Magazine, where we continue to chat about the topic of the day. You can also access this information on our website, and that is www.futurestelevision.com. So don't be shy. We transmit via Roku TV, the Roku app, the memory stick, or TV sets, and via Apple TV. Don't forget to add Futures Television to your preferred list of channels using your Apple TV device. You can also listen to the show via Radio Futures, the wave of the future on the radio. Today, our topic is the future of hospitality in a hotel. And for that, we'll travel to the prestigious 25 Hours Hotel in One Central in Dubai to speak with Mads Wollf, the general manager. We will discuss a few topics, and among them, the hotel's theme, leadership, and the uniqueness of the property. So let me say a few words about the show. If you have a question about what's coming and would like to find out how to prepare for it, then worry no more. Our host, Joyce Joya, will share lots of valuable information, thought-provoking ideas, and some great insight about a variety of topics, and she will cover several emerging trends. Armed with this information and these insights, you are sure to make better decisions. So let's say a few words about our guest today. Mads Wollf is the general manager of the 434-room nomadic oasis called the 25 Hours Hotel One Central, located directly across the street from the Museum of the Future in Dubai. Mads spent years perfecting his skills as a chef, then an executive chef, then as director of food and beverage, before rising in the ranks to be a general manager. Mads was a member of the 25 Hours brand launch team, and he was instrumental in creating the concept of the hotel and its food and beverage venues. In 2019, he took on the role of hotel manager at the amazing 25 Hours Hotel One Central Dubai. His goal, well realized, was to bring the vision of the 25 Hours brand to life in Dubai, and he has really made positive waves in Dubai and beyond. Besides creating a unique hospitality culture, Mads was brought numerous strategic partnerships to the brand, including with BMW Mini Cooper, various fashion houses, and even a coffee product line. Mads' dedication to informality is much appreciated by his staff, who are allowed to express their individuality in what they choose to wear. Mads is passionate and dedicated leader, focused on helping his people. And he said, the most important thing for me is to help people and get them to grow and achieve their goals. Well, without further ado, let's speak with both Joyce and Mads. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rom. And welcome to my show, Mads.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with your journey. I understand that it started in a kitchen in Denmark. Can you briefly tell us your story?
Definitely. So I started as a chef or a chef trainee in kitchens, standalone kitchens, small restaurants, Michelin-starred restaurants, and I started working in those kind of restaurants, more into fine dining and learning the restaurant. And in the beginning, it was all about being a chef and being the highest level of a chef that you could, and cooking Michelin-starred food and achieving those kind of goals. One day I got a very out of the blue opportunity to go to Japan and work. And it was almost like a phone call. I have this opportunity. Would you like to go? And I said yes. And 2 months later, I was on a flight on the way to Japan. where I worked for 2 years. And I think it became obvious to me at that point that I would probably not return back to Denmark. From Japan, I got a chance to then go into to hotels, and that was the beginning of the journey and how it led from being a chef at a restaurant to going abroad and then suddenly entering the hotel for the first time and experience this completely new world.
Wow. So tell us how you and the 25 Hours brand found each other.
So we found each other in Dubai when the 25 Hours brand, before the concept was launched. This was in the pre-opening. This was way before there was only construction going on at this time. And I have been doing a few pre-openings before that. I did a pre-opening and an opening in Bali. I did one here in Dubai. At the moment, I was doing a task force role, a project job in Saudi as well.
And these were for all other brands.
These
right?
have been from other brands, yeah. And then I was starting to looking. I really wanted to find something that is a bit more myself, something where I can see my own reflection in a brand, something where I feel that this here is really me. Like everybody can wear a suit and go to work, but if you want to be a part of something maybe a bit bigger, where you can see yourself or where you can make a real difference.
Right.
And that's where I found 25 Hours. At 25 Hours, we found each other. And then the relationship took shape from there.
Fantastic. I've traveled on 7 continents. I've probably stayed in thousands of hotels, given that I'm Platinum for Life in Marriott and Diamond and Hilton. And I've never been at a hotel property that had 10,000 books. Now, was that your idea? Or, I mean, how did that come about?
So the Fountain of Tales, which you're referring to, so straight when you enter the lobby of 25 Hours, we have a big art piece with a huge globe in the middle. So on the globe itself, it's a local artist we have worked with. And again, that tells us some about the local artists, the local partnerships that we're always building and doing around here. Under the globe itself, there is a Fountain of Tales. So this year is tales and books from the region especially, and books from around the world as well. And they are there to tell the story about where we are and the history, the same as the whole hotel's history. It goes from the Bedouin, the nomads, until the Museum of Future and the rockets and the spaceship to the moon.
Yes, and the front of the property, folks, is a rocket ship. Is that true?
It is a rocket ship. It's actually an art installation that holds 5 different pieces, and it's all the different transportations to the era of the region. So there is a camel, there is a boat, there is a water dory, it's called. There is a 4-wheel drive, and there is a rocket, and it's all built into one specific artwork that again tells the story of where we are and how the future is and the past for the region.
You know, I have actually written a Herman Trend alert. It's something that I do every week. Last week I wrote about making robots laugh, and this week I'm writing about bounties and sabbaticals. And I wrote about flying taxis in Dubai. So do you think that the artist will add a flying taxi to that installation?
It's probably going to come within not too long a horizon, I believe.
Amazing. Thank you. So one of the things that impressed me about this property is that every member of your staff always wears a smile. I mean, I've been in a lot of hotels and I've seen a lot of happy staff members, but not like yours. I mean, it's really unusual. And it struck me because I've never seen a staff that was as happy as yours is. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that. So I think, first of all, when we started the hiring, it was very important to us to look for people with personality, people who have attitude, maybe people who have something to offer. And then the next step where it might be many companies go wrong is when you hire a person, you give them, let's say, a gray suit, and you tell them, now this is how you have to behave. This is the color of your nails. This is how you should wear your hair. You cannot wear your earrings. Or you cannot express yourself, or don't talk like that. You should talk like this here. And within a few months, you have removed personality, you have moved happiness, you have moved them their comfort. They don't have the same. They lost their attitude. They lost their personality, and they're not confident in themselves anymore because everything they had before you removed. And then you expect, then everybody talks about, let's make a happy work culture, or people should smile, or you should be vibrant. These words, they're often used in different workplaces, but when you remove that from the team, then what do you have left? And I think that was very important for me, is that I want people to be themselves and express themselves and have personalities, and be allowed to be themselves and to shine in their own way.
That's really beautiful. Did that come from within you, or did you have a role model that you learned that from?
I think this is a bunch of experience. This is from reading, from dreaming, from knowing how it is and how you have seen good people and how they're treated. So I think it's a mixture of things that gave me these ideas to how to develop people, how to keep people, how to motivate people. So it's really a big mixture of a lot of things.
Most impressive. So there are two aspects of your enlightened leadership that particularly impress me. And one is that lack of uniforms. And
the lack of uniforms, I like that.
Well, that is exactly what it is. It gives each person an opportunity to express their individuality. Is that brand wide, or is that just here?
It is not brand wide. It is something that we have implemented more here in Dubai. And the reason behind this is, like, especially in Dubai, I have seen this over and over again with a lot of hotels and over uniform people, to an extent where, as explained before, I feel like you are losing the personality of each people.
Right, right.
Again, this is such a big property. There are several different outlets. So we have uniforms, and some more than others, but still every uniform comes with a flexibility. At certain areas, like for example, our coffee shop in the lobby, where I think we have the most flexibility, it's really for the people to express themselves and allow them to be themselves and have personality. And we are providing, and we are constantly working on something we call a lookbook. A lookbook is a kind of a guidelines to how can I do, or what can I do, and that will give them some ideas to be flexible and still represent the brand at all times.
In my past, there was a sort of similar situation that I found in the office of an orthodontist, believe it or not, in Greensboro, North Carolina. Every 6 months, he would send his entire staff out shopping, and they would look at a particular color palette, and each person could buy the kind of clothing that looked good on him or her, that was within the guidelines of those prints, those colors, whatever. And it was very similar to what you're talking about in terms of a lookbook. And he was very successful. So it does not surprise me that you are too. The second one is that, like the top general managers that I've met all over the world, you put a a high value on growth and development, that you really want to make sure that each of your people is realizing his or her full potential. Would you agree with that? I mean, it seems like that's what I've read about you.
I would like everybody who have the dream and the wish to grow in their career and are willing to put the effort behind it. I want to give them every opportunity possible for realizing those goals and dreams with them. I myself is very ambitious. I've been very aggressive in my own career growth. And it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of passion, it's a lot of intensity. But if I can give that to somebody else, if I can, for example, opening 25 hours here, this offer a job opportunity to 350 people. When we reach next year and we are 100% open, when we open our cinema, the restaurants and everything else we're working on, we would have more than 450 roles. And that means that we have given jobs to 450 people. If you can promote or help them grow even in other companies or to their next role, at the end of the day, you have helped so many people achieving something new, going new places in their life. And that's the ultimate feedback you can get. That is a joy.
Yes, it is a joy. It's the ultimate high, isn't it?
It is.
When you can help someone else to realize more of their full potential. And many leaders, I believe, overlook the fact that sometimes people need to leave you in order to take the next step in their growth. And it's unusual for me to hear a leader say that, because many of them are so protective. You know, they say, well, turnover is expensive and I don't want to lose anybody. And unfortunately, it means that everybody loses in the long run. And in your case, everybody wins in the long run. One of the things that I was thinking about, because the 25 hours chain is located in 15 different cities, correct? So have you, well, it's 2 years old. This property is 2 years old, correct?
No, we are just 11 months old.
11 months old. Well, it's very early then in the process to ask you this. But have you considered the possibility of having one of your people work at one of the other properties that was a 25 hours property, and then you would get one of those people to come and work for you? You know, it's like you would have a front desk person from one of the other properties come to you and vice versa. And it's an opportunity for hotel brands to kind of share great ideas.
So when we first opened here, one of the first things we did was to take the whole senior leadership team, and they went to Germany. We visited all 4 or 5 different of the 25 hours properties, both in Vienna, as in Austria. We went to Switzerland, we went to Germany, to Denmark as well, to visit the properties there. For the first 1 year, we had one team member from Switzerland from 25 hours as well. And she was working with us here in the property as well.
Excellent.
Very soon, there is more new 25 hours coming around the world. And once that happened, again, it's not just very likely, it's 100% certain that for sure we will share team members who can at the same time grow, but also help implement the next 25 hours in the world.
I want to work for 25 hours. I have actually recommended this kind of exchange to different employers when I've worked with them as a consultant. So I know that it works. And it's also, by the way, an excellent incentive when you're looking to hire someone, because people love to travel. And if they can travel and learn and continue to work, it's so much the better.
Definitely.
So tell me about one of the things that I discussed in my presentation in my show when I covered the future of hospitality was the idea of themed hotels and themed rooms. In fact, Marriott did a study, and the searches for themed rooms grew by 166% or something like that last year. And I was thinking about that as I walked into your hotel, and my eyes went wide, and I saw the amazing array of things that you have in your hotel. So tell me, is each of the 25 hours properties themed?
Each of the 25 hours have their own story. So every 25 hours have a story. Our story here is from the Bedouin, the nomads, to today's and the future era. And everything you see on the floors, like we have the astronaut on the top floor, and we have the Bedouin on the lower floors. We have the books, we have the analog circus, we have the technology. So this is our story. Copenhagen is built in an old school, for example, the 25 hours in Copenhagen. And their one is about the university. So you will find a lot of artifacts inside there, reminds you about going to school, going to university. For example, in Berlin, where they have the monkey bar, this is next to the zoo. So every 25 hours actually have a sleeping animal in each bed. So if you go to the bedroom here, we have a camel, versus in Berlin, they're right next to the zoo, and they have a monkey. In the rooms, you can actually look down to the zoo when you're in the room. So they have a monkey as a sleeping animal. In Florence, they have a rat as a sleeping animal, because as we know, Florence is very famous for actually having. The theme of Florence is related to, of course, the Da Vinci and the story of like being in a city like Florence. And you have some room stays inspired by angel and heaven, and some is inspired by hell, which is a very big contrast, but a beautiful property.
Themed rooms, certainly, right?
Themed rooms, themed hotels with a story. There's always a 25 hours fine line going through, but definitely each property is unique to the location they're in. And that's what makes the property so exciting, is like, you know, this is 25 hours, you know, you can relax, you know, you can be yourself, everybody is welcome, but at the same time, you have a new experience in every city.
Folks, is it any wonder that I believe that this chain is the future of hospitality? No. Okay, so there are strategic alliances here that you have arranged. One of the things that I got to do while I was a guest here was that I was able to take a Mini Cooper out for 4 hours and drive it on the streets of Dubai. And there was no cost to me. And it was a strategic alliance between you and BMW Mini Cooper. Also, I got to people watch the other night when there was a Jimmy Choo fashion show here, and the women were walking in wearing Jimmy shoes. That is, for those of you who do not know, it's like 5-6 inch high heels. Quite a show for us who were just watching the people. Where did that come from? Is that a brand idea? Is that your idea? And I know that brain of yours is continuing to add more to this property, to this brand. Tell us about where it came from and what your plans are.
So we believe in partnerships, and I think this is the key here. The Mini, that's a global partnership that 25 hours have with Mini. So in any place where it makes sense. So there is certain places where you cannot park a car if it's inside the inner city of Paris, for example. But we have here, we have 4 Minis outside that any guest who stay with us can use at any time, as you have done. The partnerships have been instrumental from the beginning. Like we have a partnership with a coffee roaster in Dubai. So we are buying from a local roastery, but not only we are buying their coffee, we have one of their baristas with us every day. So to ensure the right coffee quality and give us some of their personality from the coffee. So it's not just a product you buy and we sell it, but we are taking the whole experience. And that is what people want now. Whatever they're traveling, they're going to a coffee shop, they want to explore something, they want to taste something, but they want to have the story behind it, where it started and where it ended. You experienced this year was Jimmy Choo, who had a party with us, and it was amazing. It was an amazing party they had, and people were dressed up for it. We have several partners. We have also a partnership with Factory People. Factory People is used to launching massive concerts and festivals around, especially in Lebanon, UAE. And we have been activating our rooftop cocktail bars in the weekends with them and have had massive parties. They are expert on nightlife. I'm operating a hotel. So having people who know what they're doing, and they know it better than you. So it's also realizing that you don't have to do everything by yourself. You can partner up with people who knows better how to do a specific thing, and you have the right partnership, and together you make something new. Like you will not find those kind of parties on a hotel anywhere else in Dubai. I think so. This is just the beginning. We have several partnerships coming on. Very soon we are launching a new burger partnership with a very famous local vendor here as well. We have a cinema coming up, Cinema Akil, which is also a small startup. It was a small startup. It has become a very cool boutique cinema in the city. We are now opening outdoor cinema with them as well. So there's so many things in the pipeline and already going on, and we'll continue exploring partnership as we go.
Fabulous. Okay, so we like to end our show with a little advice, but this time I'm going to change it up a little bit, because I think it would be great if you could give advice to a young person who is interested in getting into the hotel industry. And then I'm going to ask you the same thing for leaders. So go ahead and answer that one first. What advice do you have for a young person who is interested in getting into the hotel industry?
Advice for a young person who would like to go into hospitality. I think it's important to try different things. Like myself, I have done a ton of different jobs. Even before I was a chef, you would be surprised to learn the long history of things I've done. I think it's very important to try different things, and you don't have to stick with one thing. When you can change your job when you're 30 years old, when you're 40 years old, when you're 25 years old. There's no restrictions, and the day I don't think you're passionate or feel happy about what you do, change it, do something else instead. There's nobody's restricting you to do only one thing. And I think that's very important. When I just started as a chef and when I was working in this Michelin starred restaurant, I thought that this is all I ever want to do, right? And 2 years later, I come to a realization. Now I kind of reach where I want to be, and I was like, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do something more. And when I was executive chef, I first think, oh, when I get to this point, maybe that's what I want to do. But I knew as soon as I had that job, I knew that this is not what I want to do, right? I want to do something more. So I think it's very important you allow yourself to be okay with things are not static, and it's okay not to have the same mind. Just because you said something last year doesn't mean that you want the same this year. So I think that's very important, and to understand that you don't have to stay in one place or have one goal or one dream, that you can evolve, you should evolve.
And to be open to what possibilities could come your way,
Definitely,
right? As well. Okay, last question. What advice do you have for other general managers who want to attract, engage, and retain workers in these very turbulent times?
to offer things that improves life quality or quality of life.
Great.
And I think no matter where in the world, if it's here in Dubai, if it's US, Denmark, wherever you are in the world, if you can improve quality of life in any sort of way for your team, then you already have an upper hand.
Mads, this has just been a fabulous half hour. It has flown by, and I thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
There you have it, folks, the future of hospitality. And back to you, Ram. Ram, we cannot hear you.
A couple of questions, specifically from Facebook. So, Mads, you're sitting across from one of the most unique buildings in the entire world. How do you stand up?
How we stand up? Well, we have the best view because we can see directly over to the Museum of Future. So I think that's definitely a good, unique selling point. But besides that exceptional view, as explained, our lobby, our whole product here in Dubai as a property is very, very unique. From 10,000 books in the lobby to antiques to artifacts to different art collection on every floor you go to just be a place where you can be yourself. There's a lot of luxury in Dubai. There's a lot of gold and marble and shiny things. This hotel is built with wood and material and craftsmanship and a lot of soul. And this is definitely something people are looking for.
Okay, the other question I got is you have a beer garden in Dubai. So that's very unique. So they're asking what kind of beer you serve and are you doing anything special for Oktoberfest?
Oh, Oktoberfest have been a huge
success.
It has been a huge success. We actually flew in 2 different bands from Germany who have been playing here 4 times every week. So they are yodeling and there's full power on the German band every weekend. Besides that, we have 17 different beers. There is a lot of Paulaner beers as we have developed this beer bar together with Paulaner. It's a 450 seats restaurant, so rather a big outlet, but a very, very beautiful, traditional Bavarian German beer garden.
You know, I'm going to have to ask you the question. I know you're Danish, and not German, but can you yodel?
I cannot yodel, and I don't think you want to hear me try.
So no yodel, not for you. Okay.
I leave it to you.
Good job.
All right, you folks. So seems like we're learning a lot about the 25-hour hotel in Dubai and why it is such a unique destination. So Joyce, Mads, it has been such a great conversation. Thank you so very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ram.
And to the others, folks, thank you for joining us today. We hope you learned something new about the future of living, in a different place and visiting Dubai in the 25 Hours Hotel, which is a unique property located right across from the Museum of the Future, one of the most unique buildings in the world, and why the 25 Hours One Center Dubai is so unique. So in the next episode, it's going to be the future of the supply chain. We'll discuss why are my supermarket shelves still empty? Go over some implications for consumers and producers, and hear Joyce's perspectives on the future of the supply chain. So again, folks, thank you so very much for your being here with Joyce, with Mads and I. Remember, if you're watching this show on Futures Television as a podcast or as a recorded event in one of the social media platforms, you too can be part of the conversation. Watch for the links in this video so you can continue the conversation on our YouTube channel. And I hope to see you again in another episode of It's Your Future with Joyce Joya. And perhaps next time I will get Mads to yodel with me, but maybe not. I'll keep trying. Who knows? So thanks again, Mads. And thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
It's Your Future with Joyce Joya. Want to know what's coming and how to prepare for it? This show is for you. Armed with this information and these insights, our host Joyce Joya will help you make better decisions both personally and professionally. Joyce will cover all the trends, from social to economic, to workforce, and more. You will have a chance to get your questions answered in a segment we call, I'm Glad You Asked. This is one show you can't afford to miss. Now on Futures Television. It's your future with Joyce Joya.